Yo, 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 what's going on, family? What's going on? Back again. Back again, day 32. This thing is almost over. I'm gonna miss you guys. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this shit going past the 50 days, 51 days, whatever I do. This shit is exhausting. Right? Doing a show in the morning, show at night, and then all of the other things. While not eating. Um, But I love talking. I might do something different at night, right? Might do it'll have to be a little earlier though. Do a night food thing, right? Me and Kimona had started that before we would eat, and but that would have to be earlier, right? And earlier there's some things happening. All right, there's some things. Some weekdays till 6, some weekdays till 8. All right, so that may be tough. So but I'm gonna figure it out, man, because I do love the consistency I'm building just in myself. Right, I am proud of myself for being consistent, showing up even when I'm tired, even when I don't feel like it. Right, and I'm grateful for you guys who engage, man. KK and NEPPC and Starhawk and a few others who may drop in from time to time, but you three are 100% consistent, and I'm so fucking grateful, right? Because as I mentioned, like I would talk to myself, right? I would be here and I would talk to myself, and I have no problem doing that. But engagement obviously has benefits, and so it's a beautiful thing to have you guys engage me and answer the questions and give feedback and just participate. It's a beautiful fucking thing. Um, but yeah, day 32. Weigh myself today, 184. I'm dropping weight really slowly, and I'm loving this shit because that's how it's supposed to be, right? Like again, the first 4 days it was like 18, 20 pounds. It was gone, and that was all food weight and water weight and shit that I had to let go. All right, I ate a lot those few days, right? My birthday party, and a few days leading up to it, I ate a good amount of food. And so on my birthday, again, ate in the evening and then haven't eaten since. But that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, let a lot of weight go. I went from 225, 227 to 207. So 18 and 20 pounds in 4 days, right? All that shit came off of me. And since then, that was 4 days. This is now 28 days later, right? 28 days later. Um, I've lost 24 pounds. That was 18 and it's 41 pounds, 23 pounds in the last 28 days, which is extremely quote unquote healthy, right? People will recommend, they say about a pound a day when you were doing right, right? And obviously I'm not eating, so it's easy to lose weight. But I know that, my metabolism has changed. I know that just, as we age, our body changes. And so which is what again is not going to be now, but eventually I am going to like cut out cooked food, do raw fruits, nuts, seeds, right? That is definitely going to be something that is in the near to distant future. um I mentioned before, I do have a vision to do Vegan Adventures, the show that we did in 2024. We did limited series, 4 episodes. I do want to do that all around the world, right? I do want to travel all around the country, all around the world, with my wife, right? With my children, with friends, and just eating vegan food and documenting the experiences and making like reality show, right? Like who got the best vegan food in the world? Let's go find out, type shit. You know what I mean? And that's gonna come, type shit, and that's gonna come. But in order to do it the right way, I gotta get bigger. I gotta get some money. Gotta get a team, right? Professional film team, editors, and like storyboarders, and we could like plan this shit right. But that's definitely on my to do list. And so, whether that's 3 years, 5 years, I'm not gonna go fruitarian fully raw until I do that. And then once we do that, we got all the best vegan food, cooked food. Then we'll do like, where's the best fruit in the world, right? Who got the best raw food in the world? Then we'll go to all the raw restaurants. And so, but yeah, that's what's in alignment for me. Um, Kimona was saying here a little earlier, I'm gonna call my children eating some good ass food. She made some pasta and some freaking, it looked like jerk mushrooms, right? Like some jerk fucking grilled mushrooms with a salad. Like that girl could throw down, man. And I'm always like, when I'm not eating, it's just like she makes the best food. Right? She cooks for me, and she makes really good food for me, great food for me. But it's like whenever I'm not eating, she seems to make the best shit, and I'm like, nah, it is the best. I'm looking at it and smelling it. Like I'm looking at your reactions to it. Because when I'm eating and she cooks, she's like, oh, it's okay. But then when I'm not eating and she cooks, she's like, yo, that was busting. That was mad good. Oh my gosh, babe, look, oh my goodness. And then she don't even remember what she's doing. So I don't even know what I did. Like, what, girl, listen, I'm gonna need you to write it down. I need you to make a fucking video. I need you to get the shit together. So I need you to duplicate that, replicate that, do that shit again. Right? Starhawk, what's going on, family? Peace and love. Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, tonight we're gonna talk about family healing, right? Extremely important topic, extremely important discussion, man. We get a lot from our family. We get our habits, right? We get our thought processes, we get our behaviors, right? We get our fears, we get our ambitions sometimes from our family. We get a lot from our family, right? Positive and negative, right? And unfortunately, there's a lot of things passed through generation, right? So tonight we talk about how do we heal, break certain cycles, right, and build new foundations. Everything that your parents did doesn't mean it was good just because they was your parents. Everything that your grandparents did, everything that they ate, the ways that they thought, right, don't mean that they were good just because they're ancestors, right? People are like, well, you got to, some ancestors fucked up, and they got us in fucked up positions, right? Fucked up diets, fucked up kidneys, fucked up bodies, fucked up habits, fucked up lifestyles, living in fucked up conditions, right? And so the beautiful thing is that as individuals, we always have an opportunity because we're alive to change something, to build a new foundation, to break old traditions, old ways, and to build something new. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But before we do that, can we please ground? Let us ground together, if you will. I think this is kind of where Kimona always falls asleep. She really fell asleep last night, yo. Like, yo, I'm about to throw water at her. You know what I mean? But let's ground, if you will. Find a comfortable position, whether you're laying or sitting. If you are able to, if you're walking, then just become aware of your steps, become aware of your breath, become aware of your body as you move. And if you are sitting, if you are laying still, allow your back to be straightened. Allow your head to lean forward so that your chin is in your chest. And simply allow yourself to breathe. Always in through your nose slowly and out through your nose slowly as well. As you breathe, I want you to consider your family, your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, children if you have, nephews, nieces, cousins, distant relatives, uncles, aunts. Think about your family. Think about the things that you've inherited that have benefited you. Give thanks for those things. The survival tactics, the knowledge, information, the ways of being with family. Consider those. Breathe into that. Now I want you to think about and consider the things that you've inherited from your family that have hindered you, that have caused you harm, that have not benefited you. It could be certain addictions, certain habits, certain thought processes, certain lifestyle that you got directly from your family that you want to break, change, that you don't want to pass on to any loved ones. Breathe into that. Remember that not only do you come from a family, you are part of a family. Whether you have children or not, you are a leader in your family, a teacher in your family. You have a responsibility to those who come after you: nephews, nieces, sons, daughters, younger brothers, younger sisters, and beyond. Take a moment and just think about, what do you want your family to be like? What would you ideally love to pass down to your loved ones, to leave behind for your loved ones? Breathe into that. Hmm. Some say that family is everything and that you can't choose your family. And although it is true that you cannot choose the family you were born into, the beautiful thing about life is that you can choose who you build bonds with. And those people you build bonds with that you may not have blood relation to can also become family. So just take a few more moments and just give thanks for your family, those you were born into, the family you were born into, those you share blood with, and those who have became family through school, through work, through community, through whatever way that they became family. Just give thanks for your entire family, blood relatives and not. Because without your family, your closest beloveds, you would not be who you are today. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You chalk it up. It's all good. Thank you for grounding with me. If your eyes are closed, you can slowly begin to open them. Move your toes, move your fingers, give yourself a neck roll. Come back to the space. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Thank you. Whew, okay, she didn't fall asleep. She's up. That's a win. That's a win for the culture. Yeah, but tonight, day 32, theme: family healing, breaking cycles, and building new foundations. Now, we went through it in our mind. What did you inherit that you never chose? What did you inherit that you never chose from your family? And I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about possessions. I'm about patterns. What patterns did you inherit? Ways of thinking, ways of reacting, ways of living. Right? I know for me, I inherited. I come from a very aggressive family, um, very loud family. I inherit. I inherited always being ready to fight. I inherited always ready to take it there. I inherited the mindset that says I don't give a fuck. I inherited that from my family. My grandfather didn't give a fuck. My uncles didn't give a fuck. My mama don't give a fuck still, right? Um, both sides, right? Like my mother's side and my dad's side don't give a fuck. Cousins, older brothers, older sisters on my dad's side ain't give a fuck, right? Did things, mad time in prison, all type of shit, right? I absolutely inherited that mindset, right? I inherited before I even knew what beer was or alcohol was. My grandfather gave me beer, right? I was drinking. I inherited that fucking way of living, that lifestyle of drinking, right? Of smoking, right? Everybody smoked around me. It's just something you do, right? Which is one thing I always argue and contest when people say people smoke and drink to escape. Yes, that may be some. That may be sometimes. But a lot of us in on Earth, period, especially in the black community, coming from the hoods, we drink and smoke just because it's what you do, right? Like escape from what? I was 13. I didn't even know I had problems. I'm drinking and smoking, right? Like started drinking. Again, my grandfather gave me beer, freaking 5, 6 years old. Whiskey at fucking 7, 8 years old. Just put some hair on your chest, boy. I'm 8. I don't fucking need hair on my chest for, right? Um, So yeah, those are things that I absolutely inherited, right? Thought patterns, thinking that like life is limited, thinking that we come from slavery, thinking that I can't get rich is a nice dream, but like nobody's rich in the family, so like just fly under the radar and just try to make it. I inherited that shit from my family, right? So every family has patterns, right? And a lot of our families have similar patterns, but some shit is unique, right? And some patterns are healthy, some patterns are supportive, right? There's some families who inherit the patterns of, like one of the patterns I inherited from my dad was waking up early, right? My dad was an entrepreneur, come in late, get up early, had a cleaning company, right? Was always building it, always building it, always building it, actively getting new contracts, actively putting people to work, right? All over the city, really all over the country, right? He had contracts all up and down the East Coast mainly. Then he had a few contracts in the Midwest, Chicago, Detroit area. Then he had some in Canada, where I think, if I'm not mistaken, like 111, 112 contracts at the time of his passing. He did good. He did good. He did good. I inherited that behavior, that healthy pattern. Get up early, stay up late. Get up early, stay up late. Entrepreneurship, build something that you determine your time. You determine how much income you make based on the time that you put in. Right. The challenge was because he was so hands on, he didn't build it in a way that um, really grew. Because even though so he passed, it was still a business. My sister had it, right? She passed. 3 years later, my aunt had it. The contracts continued to dwindle. And my aunt had it, and she's fucking my dad's age, so she was older, right? And then she tried to some other family to do some things, and then all the contracts like went out the window. It wasn't something that like where he got somebody else in and taught them and trained them to take over when he leaves. It was like my sister just picked up on it, maintain the contracts, right? So yeah, so that's something, right? But those are the healthy, supportive, and empowering patterns, right? Some patterns are not, and as we've said before, right? We talk about healing and arts. What's not healed gets repeated. You don't heal certain shit in your family, and I remember growing up hearing what goes on in this house stays in this house. So abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, right? Shit doesn't get healed. It gets repeated. It gets passed down, whether directly to other family members or it gets enacted upon other people, friends, families, right? I know how to drink. So that shit becomes really tough. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. Sick people make people sick. Right? And we got to be able to be honest about that shit, be honest about where we are and what's going on in our families. Again, even if amongst self and family, right? If this is going on and we need to learn how to address this. I get it. Some shit is tough to address with family. I got shit in my family that's been tough to address, right? Um, so we talk about what gets passed down, right? What gets repeated. Families pass down more than DNA. You get your DNA from your parents, absolutely, but they pass down beliefs, pass down behaviors, pass down emotional patterns and survival strategies, right? Hustling, right? Got passed down to my family. Cousins, siblings, both sides hustled illegally, right? Certain beliefs, everybody, for the most part, in my family is Christian, right? I think I kind of broke that mold by embodying all aspects of all the different religions. And I said, either I'm going to be all religions or no religions, right? And years ago, my brother and I said, we are Islamic Christian Jews. We study Hinduism, we love Buddhism, and we practice Taoism, right? So like somebody asked, we was talking on the train, so I was like, "What's your religion? I love how you guys speak," and we came up with that on the spot, right? So yeah, like those shits get passed down. Your beliefs. What do you believe? Believe that black people come from slavery. Believe that you work hard. You work 40 years, 50 years. You retire. You save a little bit of money and you take a trip every now and then. Like those are beliefs. Those are thought patterns, right? That get passed down in families. Everybody gonna die poor. So like sickness, that's a behavior, right? Behavior. Oh man, like eating the same foods. I always talk about the fucking the crazy dichotomy of a loved one passes. from cancer, diabetes, a heart attack, high blood pressure, hypertension, some food-related illness, right? At the funeral, the family's eating the same exact food that led to the illness. Same exact food, and eating a lot of it. And like happy to make it, happy to bring it, happy to eat it, and then pray God bless this food. It's like, yo, like that shit is, it just killed auntie. It fucking took uncle's fucking had to get his leg fucking amputated, right? Like, really? Like, at no point are we gonna be like, yo, this shit is not good for us. At no point are we gonna like try to break that pattern. So shit is tough, right? And again, these things get passed down without even realizing it. And so this is where we don't blame, because it's not intentional. This is just, this what mommy did, this what daddy did, this what grandma did, this what grandpa did. Again, one of the things that got passed down in my family was yelling, cursing, calling names, right? And hitting your children. That's what my, like, especially on my mom's side. My dad never hit me. My brother said I had a completely different father than he had, because he said that daddy hit them, right? When they were younger. He said he like kind of hit them bad. I'm like, damn, I don't know that dad. Give him my dad. By the time he had me, it was a 16-year age difference between me and my closest sibling on my dad's side, 16 and 17 years. I'm 42. I think my brother is going on 60. I think next year is the 60th year, 59. I think my sister turned 60 this year. Right, so it was a gap, right? But from my mom's side, that definitely passed down. My grandfather cursing his fucking children out, calling them all types of names. They done had fights, pulled guns out on each other, all types of crazy things on my mama's side of the family. And that shit got passed down. Where like my mama, again, I love her. Today we have a much better relationship, but I was definitely hit. I was definitely beat. We were definitely cursed out, called names, and all of that shit. Right? So that shit was passed down, like just as happenstance. Again, we talk about brain science. We talk about system one thinking, right? You're not even thinking about what you're doing or why you're doing it or where you get it from or how it's impacting the people that you're doing it to. You're just doing it because you're on autopilot, automatic thinking, right? So know that you didn't start everything, but this is the beautiful thing. You have the power to change it. You have the power to change it. And as the saying goes, you can't heal what you don't see. What you're not aware of, you can never change, right? This is where awareness comes into play. Awareness is, again, awareness is the first pillar in the neural soul liberation method, is to be aware of your behaviors, to be aware of your thought patterns, to be aware of your feelings, to name that shit, name your patterns. How do you respond with certain things? Like, name that shit. That is the first fucking step to everything. Is consciousness, is awareness, right? It's to become aware of something. So what patterns do you notice? Right? How conflict is handled? Always a fight. It's always a fight, or like within family, people stop talking to each other. Right? And I remember vividly when just a couple years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe, give or take. So about 10 years ago, I was in LA, and I spoke to my nephew, right? I asked if I needed a place to stay. I was like, nah, because I had a place to stay. I had 2 places I was going to stay while I was out there. I was out there for like 2 weeks or whatever. And one place I was going to stay, they forgot that they had booked a trip. So it was like a 2-day gap between when they were leaving and when I was going to the next place I was going to stay, right? 2-3 days or something like that. It wasn't a long time, right? And so I called my nephew and I'm like, yo, I actually want to take you up on that offer. He's like, oh man, it's a full house. And so in my head, like we didn't speak for a while, right? Now, mind you, he was living in LA. I'm in New York. So it's not like we were together and just ignoring each other. It's just nobody reached out. There was no communication. I was hurt. Like, I'm your uncle. I could sleep on the floor. I could sleep in a fucking chair. Like, I got to sleep outside. And literally, I remember one day I stayed outside all night. I think I stayed at a Denny's till they closed, right? Like 3 in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning. And then I stayed outside. And then somebody ran out of bread, right? Somebody sent me some bread, ended up getting a hotel for 2 days. It was 2 days. I got a hotel for 2 days. And then I was able to go to the next place I was staying at, and I was able to generate some more income, right? But conflict, not talking. But the moment we was in each other's space, right? Because again, I was very cognizant of this, and I love my nephew, and I was hurt, but like, okay, this is my guy. I love him. I don't think he did it intentionally or maliciously. And so we were at family barbecue, and right, hugged him. I was like, yo, let's talk real quick. Literally, as soon as we got up there, I got there first. He came a little later, and like, yo, let's go over here and talk real quick. And I let him know, listen, man, when I was in LA, and he told me, right, he had feelings as well. He said, yo, I was hurt because like you said you didn't need a place to stay, and then you just called me out the blue and was like, yo, I need a place to stay. And I was like, damn, I was stuck because I had some friends over. And I'm like, so we talked it out, right? So again, patterns, how conflict is handled. Most times I've noticed in my family, both sides, either there's a physical fight, people have physically fought in my family. More often, people just stop talking to each other, right? Patterns, we know how emotions are expressed. It's a lot of yelling in my family, and I see in other people's families, a lot of yelling, a lot of cursing out. But we also I've noticed how love is shown. Love is shown through hugs. Love is shown through "I love you," right? It's, in some dynamics, love is shown by doing things, by buying things, right? By cooking, right? They show you they love you by cooking. I know that my mama, when she used to hit me or something like that, or curse me out, or whatever the case may be, and she would never come apologize. But her apology was, right, her way of apologizing was coming ask me, was I hungry? Right? Or making some of my favorite food. Like not even asking me, just making my favorite food. Or coming to bring me a snack. You want a snack? Got some cookies for it, got some ice cream, got some cake. Right? That would be her thing. She would, whether it was the same day, like at nighttime, or the next day, she would come in and she would have some cake. Right? Cake and ice cream. And it would be all good. Right? That shit is terrible, right? But again, awareness is the first step in breaking the cycle. The first fucking step is to be aware of what's going on, right? What's going on and how it's impacting you, how it's impacting others, right? Because we're not always the innocent ones. Sometimes we carry shit, right? We do carry shit, and we like propagate certain shit. So now this is the emotional reality. Family healing is not fucking easy. It's not easy. It brings up pain, can bring up discomfort. It brings up fucking resistance. Like, what? Ain't nothing wrong with me. What you talking about? Ain't nobody do that. People forget a lot of times, forget the things that they did. The brain has a way of doing that. And sometimes we might think, oh, they just lying, they just fronting. But no, the brain has a way of making itself forget some traumatic experiences. Whether it's something that happened to you or something that you did, you block that shit out, right? And it didn't happen the way that somebody may tell you it happened in your mind, right? But that's what this shit brings up, man. Like I've had, again, I've healed my relationship with my mother. I've healed it. I've healed my relationship with so many family members. My aunt, before she transitioned, right? I remember coming back from Vegas. I remember being in Vegas. I remember going to Vegas. I was going to stay with a priest of Ifa. Again, whole family, dad's side, Christian. Most go to church, some don't, but they would identify as Christian. I grew up identifying as Christian. As I learned more, I was like, well, I'm a little bit of everything, right? I embrace it all. So I'm not just gonna say I'm Christian. I'm Islam. I'm Muslim. I'm Christian. I'm Buddhist, right? I'm Jew. I'm all of it, or none of it, one or the other. But anyway, I remember going to Vegas, stay with a priest at Ifa, and my aunt told me as I was leaving, you might as well just stay out there. Like, oh. So I'm out there, and I called her, and she answered the phone and hung up. And then I remember calling her again. I was out there for a week and a half, 2 weeks. I remember calling her again, and she didn't answer. I'm like, damn. So I didn't try calling her no more, right? And when I came home, learned that she had cancer, right, in her breast, and I was staying with her at the time, and I left, right, and so that caused, there was no words, that caused a rift, to the point where I mentioned this before, where I didn't communicate with any of my family for nearly 2 years, and I found out my sister transitioned on Facebook. My sister Bunny, I found that she transitioned. This is by far one of my favorite siblings, top two, right? Top two siblings. And by far, top two, I'm getting tongue tied. But I found out she transitioned on Facebook. Shit fucked me up. And none of them came to my wedding, right? I didn't invite any of them. It was not like I invited them and they didn't come. I didn't invite any of them to my wedding when I got married before, right? And it was tough. And then when my sister transitioned, I broke that shit up, man. I got rid of all of that fucking ego and shit. And I called my aunt and was like, yo, I just saw what happened to Bunny. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Where's everybody at? My aunt answered the phone. Everybody's at Alicia's house. I'll be over there. All right, I'll see you later. And then we was able to build a relationship. And we talked. I told her I was hurt. She told me she was hurt, right? We was able to heal the relationship. But again, like that was healing, but it brought up pain, brought up discomfort, right? Again, when I told her the things that hurt me, it was a little resistance there, right? Because again, she was older at the time, right? Like certain shit is like, she don't care about it. It don't even matter. But that's part of the process, is the pain, the discomfort, as we say. No pain, no gain. If you want to heal, if you want to grow, there's going to be some pain in there. So healing, right, requires honesty. And honesty, sometimes it doesn't always feel good, right? And so now this is where we learn to take responsibility without blame. This is a big one, right? This is a big one, because when we develop certain habits, when we develop certain lifestyles, when we develop certain thought processes, behaviors, right? It's easy to blame your family. It's easy to be like, well, my mother, I'm like this because of my mother. I'm like this because of my uncle. I'm like this because of my grandparents. I'm like this because of my older siblings. I'm like this because of these people. Very easy to do that, all right? But healing is not about blaming your family. It's about taking responsibility for your own growth. And I learned that because for a while I blamed my mother. I blamed my mother. I blamed my father for dying. I blamed my grandfather. I blamed my aunt. I blamed everybody, right? At a certain point in my life, it's everybody else's fault. And what's crazy is that it may very well be their fault that you are the way you are, right? It may very well be you are who you are. You are the way you are. You have the habits that you have. You're in the position that you have because of their words, their deeds, their actions, the way they raised you, the way they spoke to you. All of that could be very, very true. But it's about healing. It's about taking responsibility for your own personal growth, right? I didn't choose the family I was born into, but I get to choose how I grow and how I live. The moment I become fucking aware, conscious, is my choice daily, right? To choose how I show up, to choose how I fucking do things differently, right? To choose if I want to continue. So me, I made a choice. And I made the choice before I even had children. And my mother would say, yeah, right, wait till you have children. And I would never hit my children, or I would never call them names. And I've never called them names. Like, there's some parents, man, they call their children stupid, idiots, dumb, pieces of shit. Like, he said, what? Huh? What did you say?
I said dickhead. Like,
yeah, dickhead. Like, they say terrible things. Doofus, idiots, like all types of shit, right? Like, man, just so degrading. But I made that commitment, like I said before, I became a dad, that I would never, ever talk to my children like that, right? Like, I don't give a fuck how I'm feeling. I'd rather, like, yo, listen, like, honest, right? I'm in a bad, and I've said this to my children, I'm not in the best space right now, right? I need a moment. I need a minute. Can you go play a game? Can y'all play with each other? Can y'all go read a book right now? I'm not in the best headspace right now. I'm not in the best emotional space, right? Like, honesty. But yeah, like, that shit is I made that commitment because I was 100% committed to breaking that cycle, and I didn't have to blame. Like, you don't have to blame to break the cycle. You just be aware what happened, what you don't want to happen, and you make the decision, the honest decision, and the commitment to do something different. And so emotions may still rise, but, like, this is the regulation part. Take a fucking breath, pause before responding, before doing anything, right? So this is how we break the cycle. Breaking patterns requires what? Awareness. We named that already. Intention. Be intentional. Be intentional. Be intentional. And do things differently. Different actions lead to different outcomes. Different actions, different decisions, different actions lead to different outcomes, different results that then create different types of people, right? And if we talk about creating a better generation, a more peaceful, more loving generation of children, of humans, what they say is real. It fucking starts at home, right? Now, the challenge in that is if it's just home, just family, right? Just the parent or parents, grandparent or whatever, and the children, they repeat those cycles. So now this is where community comes into play, right? Because community supports the home, right? It's supposed to support the home. The cousins, the friends, the co-workers, supposed to support the home. And obviously it gets tough because, like, you bring up some shit that you noticed and people get defensive. And you can't tell me how to raise my family. So this is why we got to learn how to communicate. But I'm not trying to tell you how to raise your family. I'm just sharing something I observed or something I've learned, right? Always, like, from, if you can speak from the our perspective, something I learned is, and a lot of times it lowers people's defenses. And then asking people, right? Like, something I want to do more of, especially when I see it in the streets. Asking people, hey, are you okay? Do you need some support? right? And clearly it may be no a lot of times, but it may be, yo, you know what? I'm fucking tired right now. I'm tired. I'm stressed the fuck out. My job ain't paying me enough. They got me working super hours. I don't got enough time to cook for my children. I'm fucking mad about that. My children are running amok. They're not doing great in school. They're in the streets, getting in trouble. I'm fucking stressed the fuck out. I would love some help. Please help me, right? It takes asking. And that takes, again, just being in community and learning, right? Learning these different things, learning these different strategies, how to connect with each other, right? So breaking the cycle means doing something different, even when it feels unfamiliar. Doing something different. We don't gotta do what mommy always did, what daddy always did, what grandmama did. We don't gotta eat the foods that grandmama made that we loved as children. Because we see what it did to grandmama. Got no fucking ankles, could barely fucking walk. 60 years old, could barely walk. That's not old, man. Oh, that's old. No, the fuck is not. 60 years old with a cane and a walker is a shame. Clearly, it happens, and it happens a fucking lot. But that shit doesn't have to be the norm. We can age with grace. Take care of ourselves. Eating, right? Exercising, positive mindset. All of that shit plays a part. All of that shit plays a part. So doing something different. Change begins when you choose differently. Intentional. Be very intentional. And your intention, your intentionality is going to come from your awareness. I seen what this did to me. Like, I know my mother calling me names led to a lot of my mental health challenges. Me not wanting to live, me not wanting to be here. Because she made me feel like shit. Like shit. My mother don't fucking love me. Like, she's telling me she loves me. She's buying me things, always had fresh sneakers, always had nice clothes, always had the latest video game systems, right? Always had all of the things, right? When my dad was alive, but even when he passed, things intensified, right? But she made me not feel like, she made me feel like I didn't want to live. My mama don't love me. What the fuck am I living for? I might as well just kill myself, make everybody happy. I just think that if I was dead, then everybody's lives would be better. They don't got to worry about me because I'm getting in trouble. I'm making everybody's life hard. I'm making my mother's life hard. She got to take off work to come to school. If I was just dead, then, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it. And that's when I thought about it for a long time. And then at 19 years old, I put the gun to my head and contemplated killing myself, right? I wanted to pull the trigger. Thank the Most High that it did not happen because I would not be here right now. And so I'm grateful that I'm still here. So, right, we talk about breaking the cycle. We talk about building new patterns because healing is not just about breaking cycles. Like you break a cycle, it's like you destroy something. You destroy something, and then what's there? Build something new, right? Creating healthier communication. Powerful. My brother and I, dear brother of mine, Leroy Jr., we didn't talk for a while. He said some things, I said some things. He behaved in some ways, I behaved in some ways. It's bad, right? But we both, I think, similar missions, break certain cycles, build new ones. And so we started to communicate. And it brought up pain, right? It was honest communication. Yo, when you said this, I ain't fucking like that shit. Well, when you did this, it made me feel like this. Like, damn. Unless we talk, nobody really sees the other person's perspective and how they may feel when something happens, right? So build new ones. You create healthier communication, create better emotional expression, something I'm working on with my mama actively, right? But healthier communication and better emotional expression, right? And stronger, that leads to stronger connections, and stronger connections, man. My brother and I now have a connection that is so strong. My mama and I connection is stronger than it's ever been, right? So know that it's not just healing. It's not just what we're doing. What we're doing is actually rebuilding foundations. We're rebuilding bonds. We're rebuilding family, right? And so now this is where it gets really, 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 really big because now we talk about generational impact, right? Because when you heal, it doesn't just stop with you. I'm telling you, it impacts your children, it impacts your relationships, and it impacts your community. I like to think that my children are the beautiful, brilliant, creative, loving children that they are in large part because of my healing, because of me taking accountability, me taking responsibility, me becoming more aware and conscious of myself and of the things that were going on in my family. I know that my relationships are healthier. My relationship with Kimona now is the healthiest relationship I've ever had in my life. Period. Right? Like, period. Right? Specifically romantic, right? Generally, right? But specifically like romantic relationship I've ever had in my life is extremely healthy, right? Why? And not just me, like she healed, right? Like she's healing, right? But like I healed. And it impacts how I respond. It impacts how I want to communicate. It impacts when something is tough. I don't just want to rush it out. When I feel a certain way, I don't just want to lash out. Like, hey, yo, why the fuck? It's like, no, it's like, hey, babe, I don't know how to say this, but I'm just gonna say it. When you did that thing, it made me feel like this, right? And sometimes putting whatever the word is, right? Like I know you didn't mean it. I know that. I know that you love me. I have no doubt about that. I know that you want the best for me. I'm just letting you know when this happened, this was the impact on me, right? And I think that is how we communicate, right? So when you heal, it impacts your relationships, it impacts your children, it impacts your community. My community, my geographic, physical community, Queensbridge, Long Island City, right, is a lot better in large part because of my healing, right? And the other people have healed, right? Clearly, it's not just me; it's the many, it's the many. Because healing actually travels forward. Remember, you give off. We all operate and energy and frequency. And so when you heal, you raise your vibration. You become a healthier version of yourself. It spreads. It spreads again in how you communicate with your children, how you communicate in all your relationships, intimate, romantic, family, strangers, your neighbors, the people at the grocery store, the people on the bus, right? The people on the train, right? I remember a couple years ago, I told the story before. On the train, my ex, I had a kombucha, right? Guy gets on the train, guy gets on the train looking all rough. I said, peace, brother, right? Black guys, peace, brother. He's like, what? Y'all know you? Right? I'm like, nah. He sits down, he's ice grilling. Like, I see the energy, like he ready for whatever, right? But because I healed, I didn't feed into it, right? And it just took a few moments. I opened my kombucha, I took a sip. He said, yo, what's that you drinking? I said, kombucha. He said, yo, I heard about that. He said, it's supposed to be good. I said, gut health, good for your stomach. Lo and behold, he like, yo, I got some shit going on in my stomach, man. Like, he just like, all the fucking screw face, the ice grilling, it fell. And he's like, yo, I got some shit going on in my stomach, man. It should be having me fucked up. I was just in the hospital for a couple of days, man. I don't know what the fuck it is. Shit is fucked up, yo. Think that should have helped me? I said, absolutely, man. And then we was able to have a conversation. I think for like 2, 3 stops, I was on the train. And then it left with like giving him a pound and like an embrace. All right. But that's healing. That's healing that travels forward. I did not allow his aggressive energy, his ice grilling, and him, yo, I fucking know you. Like, yo, what's up? Like, it's like, nah, we don't know each other, brother. My bad. Just saying peace. All right. So yeah, healing travels forward. When you heal, it impacts everybody you interact with, man, because you become more compassionate, you become more graceful, you become more patient, right? Self-love radiates outward to what they call agape love, right? Communal love. And of course, this connects to every single thing that we've talked about, right? The awareness part, seeing the patterns, the regulation, being able to manage your fucking emotions is extremely important because we are who we are, right? And so, like certain things, as they say, like hard habits, like they die slow, right? So certain shit still gonna be in you, right? And certain shit, something happens, certain emotions gonna rise, certain thoughts gonna come up, but again, the growth process is the awareness part is knowing that okay, if I respond, if I react, this is going to happen. If I react just off emotion in a moment, this is going to be most likely a result, and I don't want that result because I want to keep this relationship. I don't want to have drama. I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to get hurt, right? So let me regulate. Let me learn how to manage my emotions. And so you can still be upset, still be angry, and have a conversation without the yelling, the cursing, and the fucking violence, right? And that connects directly to discipline, choosing differently, right? And of course, your environment, right? Your community, creating new fucking dynamics that become the norm for everybody around, right? So this shit is deep work. It's not easy work. It's simple work, but it's not easy because it takes an honest reflection, an honest look in the mirror. At like, who am I? What patterns am I carrying? What did I inherit I'm grateful for? Right, waking up early, right, being a hard worker, being cleanly, right, cleaning your space, right, whatever it is, cooking, whatever it is. But then there's some shit that's like I inherited some shit that ain't good, and awareness, right? I want to change this shit. Shit ain't good for me. It doesn't feel good. I don't want nobody else. Like literally, for me, it was like I don't want anyone else. I don't want my children or anybody else's children to feel the way that I felt as a young child, feeling like I don't want to live. That shit is a crazy feeling. And clearly, there are children who have taken their lives. Right, young people. I think the youngest was 6, 7, some shit like that. The youngest person known in America that taken their own life was 6 or 7 years old, maybe 8. I can't remember. I spoke about it a couple of years ago with SR Daily. Tough shit, man. So yeah, this is deep work. So now we come, get ready to close, right? To my audience, What's one pattern in your family that you want to change? What is one pattern in your family that you want to change? What is one pattern in your family that you want to change? I think the pattern that I've changed already is the yelling at children, right? Hitting your children, cursing at your children. That is a pattern um, that I have changed. And so if there's another pattern that I want to change, I changed a lot of the patterns, right? I've done a lot of work on myself, a lot of work in these last 20 years, right? Since being home from prison, 19, almost 20 years, I've done a lot of work on myself. Um, but what other pattern do I want to change? All right, pattern in my family. I stopped holding grudges. Right, that was a pattern. I changed that. I'm gonna address some shit, even with my sister who I don't speak to. Right, I don't have a grudge. I just like we don't vibe, and so I'm not gonna front. Right, but every now and then, if I think about it, I will text her, send her some love. Right, when I seen her last summer, a few summers ago, oh snap, yo, what's up? It wasn't. Oh, I don't talk to her. I mean, try to avoid her. No, that's a grudge, right? That's a grudge. But no, like I let her know my piece. I don't like the way you did certain things. I don't like how you move when it relates to me, and I love you, but like we don't need to talk like that, right? So the challenge, right, before tomorrow is practice one new response, right? One new response, one moment, right? One interaction. Do that shit differently. Any PP said RP Fox 5, mental health is serious. Absolutely. KK said handling things on my own. That's real. Being crippled by emotions, fucking real shit. Corporal punishment, very real. Asking for help, it's still tough, and I do it. Beautiful. It's very powerful. I'm very proud of all of you, right? And all of us, because this shit is real work. Like, this shit is real work to break cycles and to build new patterns, to build a new foundation. Like, this is how we do things going forward. This is what I learned. This is what I've experienced. Doing it this way doesn't really benefit us, doesn't benefit me. I don't think benefits anybody. So let's try a different way. And it's beautiful, man. So lastly, man, what is the one cycle, right? It was a pattern now, cycle that you're committed to breaking. The cycle that I'm committed to breaking is dying of food-related illness. That is the cycle I'm committed to breaking. Dying of food-related illness. That's the most important thing. Dying of food-related illness, and then also dying poor, right? A lot of my family died poor, right? My dad had a business, great business, right? He made some great money. He was able to take care of all of his children. He had a van, he had a car, he had a house, right? We traveled often, right? He was able to buy everybody anything they wanted, always had a lot of money, but he still died. And like, I got Social Security. I was the youngest, right? I got some money from Social Security. But like, it wasn't like he didn't leave like 100K. He didn't leave like $1 million, right? Well, like we set for we good, right? He left the house, right? He left the house. My brother had the house, and then my sister has it, right? But yeah, I'm committed to breaking the cycle of dying from food-related illness. My grandfather food-related illness, my dad food-related illness, my uncle food-related illness, my aunt food-related illness, my siblings food-related illness. For the most part, added smoking and a bunch of other shit, right? But yeah, I'm committed to breaking that cycle of dying from illness. When I die, it's gonna be a freak accident, right? Fucking choke on a chickpea or something, 98, 99 years old, right? It's gonna be a fucking crazy accident where I'm traveling and some crazy shit happens, or my heart just gonna stop, right? But the diabetes, the cancer, the high blood pressure, the hypertension, the asthma, all of those other things that so many people in my family has died from, I'm committed to breaking that motherfucking cycle. That's the number one thing I'm committed to breaking. Number one cycle I'm committed to breaking in my life is the cycle of dying from food-related illness. That shit is, to me, because number one, it could be prevented. You could prevent getting sick, period. Number two is when you realize that you have an illness, you can reverse that shit. Most things are easily reversible. Diet change, lifestyle change, do more of this, do less of that, and boom, you could reverse any illness. Is a cure for everything, right? And so know that you're not just a product of your past, right? You're not just a product of your environment. You're not just a product of your past. You are the author of what comes next. You are the progenitor of what happens next. Like, what do we do? This is where we are. This is how I got. This is where I'm at. What happens next? What happens for the next generation? My children. they've learned meditation, right? My daughter a few weeks ago, she was like, I was like, yo, yeah, you remember you used to do yoga? She said, well, I haven't done yoga in a while, but I'm still a yogi, right? She knows that, and like they communicate, and even when it's tough, right? They communicate with each other, with me, and yeah, break the cycle, right? Build something different. Let's do things in a different way, right? NEPPC, so I'm committed to not being non-political in the family, as is the family norm. That's big. That's big. A lot of families, we don't do politics, right? We don't do politics, but politics affects every area of all of our lives. Where our children go to school, right? If you certain area you live in, school taxes, what the children are eating in school, what's available in our community, food wise, how the roads are, right? The laws regarding freaking all types of shit, money, wages, right? Like everything is that we, all the systems that we live within and under is determined by politics. So yeah, I love that. KK said breaking the cycle of continuous stress. Stress is a silent killer. Big facts. Big facts. But yo, listen, man, that is our stream. 51 minutes, that's the longest we've done in a while, right? Definitely had a little more energy today. I think this is a really great topic, great discussion. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, man, day 32 is coming to an end. Tomorrow is day 33. Day 33 is a big number. It's one of my powerful numbers. My life path number is 3. I'm looking like my life path number is 3, and 33, as most of you know now, is the difference of age between my parents. And yeah, all the things. I love 3. I love 33. But listen, I love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of this evening, and I will see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going to talk about day 33 is what is day 33? Love and relationships. Love and relationships and how we show up for each other. That is the topic tomorrow. Love and relationships and how we show up tomorrow. So building off this, family healing, right? Love, relationships, and how we show up for each other. So I see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, man, 9 p.m. right here on YouTube live. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. Day 32. And it's almost a wrap. Have a good night. Peace.